welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today we're going to talk about all of the fights that we got this weekend. We got a heavyweight boxing title fight going down on the Zone, and we also have UFC 266 going down on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. So no matter what type of fighting you're into, we got something for you going on this weekend. And before I get into all that, I want you guys to keep Rob in your thoughts and prayers. Got some things going on, and we hope that everything works out for the best for him. So I'm going to start with the boxing card, move on to the UFC card, and ask for you all's thoughts as we go. So this fight is for 3 of the 4 major heavyweight titles. We got Anthony Joshua, also known as AJ, defending the IBF, WBA, and WBO heavyweight titles against Alexander Usyk, who was the former undisputed cruiserweight champ. So this would be history if he could come up and take those belts from Joshua. I think it's only been a couple guys, Evander Holyfield being the biggest name to be a cruiserweight champ and a heavyweight champ. I think David Haye was one of them. Like I said, the list is very short. However, he could put himself in elite company with a win against Joshua. Both guys, great amateur standouts. Both guys have very good pro resumes. So we are looking at a pretty good fight on our hands. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about the size difference between the two guys, which it's a pretty substantial difference. Now, one of the things that can help Usyk in this is his foot movement. He has some elite foot movement that can get him in and out and possibly create some angles on Anthony Joshua. If you are unfamiliar with him, Usyk has the same trainer, is in the same camp as Vasily Lomachenko, who is one of the pound-for-pound best fighters on the planet, and they also fight very similarly. You see them try to get those angles. You see them punching combinations off of those angles, and Usyk is just a bigger version of that. So it's going to be very intriguing to see if he can pull that off against someone who has size and skill like Joshua. Like I said, he was a super heavyweight medalist in the Olympics. He has taken on a who's who, various styles of opponents, but probably skill-wise, technical skill, this is probably the best guy that Joshua's fought also. And I would say the same thing for Usyk. In the pro ranks, this is probably the best technically skilled person that he's fought. Now, Joshua is going to have to use that size to his advantage, keep Usyk from getting in on him because he has a significant height and reach advantage. Use that jab, use it intelligently. Don't just put it out there lazily. Don't drop his hands unnecessarily. And use the way we call it here in the States, the stick, a good, hard, authoritative jab to keep Usyk at bay and score points. Open him up for that right hand, as Usyk is also a southpaw. A lot of times you see both himself and Lomachenko try to step off to their right to get that angle for their left hand right hook, which is something that, you know, we teach amateurs 101. When you have a opposite footed fighter, you try to get outside of that opposite foot to get that specific angle that they are experts at. Now, Joshua, to negate that, is going to have to turn and take away that angle, much like Teofimo Lopez did to Vasily Lomachenko when they fought in their lightweight title unification. So we could have a very similar fight on our hands because we got similar fighters in those two guys. Well, I should say in those 4 guys, the skill sets that they provide and all of that. So we could end up seeing the same fight, the same type of fight. Now, there is a much larger knockout possibility with Joshua, as he has a very excellent finishing rate. But Usyk has shown that he has a pretty good chin. Problem is, sometimes when he punches in those combinations, his head doesn't move. He might get that angle, but he's not ducking and slipping as much as Lomachenko does. I mean, probably due to the much larger size that he has. Now, Joshua can take advantage of that, turn that angle, launch that right hand. We can see Usyk going to sleep. But he's got to pull it off. Same thing for Usyk. He's going to have to get past that reach of Joshua in order to land those combinations and pile up points and then get out of there before Joshua can land his counters, because it's going to take about 3 or 4 of Usyk's punches to equal one of Joshua's based on just effect and impact. And if you see Joshua landing and knocking Usyk across the ring, the judges are going to score that a lot more heavily than possibly some combinations that may look like pity-pat punches, what we call, like when they're just throwing rapid-fire punches that don't look like they're doing a lot of damage, but they are scoring blows with the fist landing on open body. If it's not showing that same damage that the 1 or 2 Joshua shots lands, then he's going to be fighting an uphill battle. And like I said, he could get caught in those exchanges and be in a lot of trouble. So he's going to have to use that angle, get his punches off, and then reset quickly. That's where that reach comes in again. Because if he doesn't get out responsibly, Joshua's counter is still there and he can still be knocked out. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think Joshua is going to catch him. He's going to catch him a lot. But I don't think Usyk is going to go down. I think he will end up losing a decision in this fight. And Joshua will set himself up to be closer to that unification for all the belts once we get Fury Wilder 3 in a couple weeks. So let's not put the cart before the horse. One of these guys has to win first. And the same thing for those 2 guys in order to have that big fight for all the marbles. So let me know how you see that fight going. Hit me up in the comments section and let us know how you think it's going to go, who you think is going to win, and why. So with that being said, let's move on to the MMA action. UFC 266 tonight. We've got 2 title fights and 1 marquee matchup, 17 years in the making. So let's knock that out first. Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler in a rematch of a fight 17 years ago. These guys were in their early 20s when that fight initially happened. So it's really hard to call how this fight's going to go. We haven't seen Nick Diaz fight in almost 7 years. I think it's 6.5 if you're counting accurately. But still, that is a long time in between fights. And then before that, he had a few years layoff as well. So he's not fighting often. However, he is a avid jiu-jitsu practitioner, and he's also a triathlon athlete. So that he's in a very good shape. This is not like they just called him off the couch and said, hey, you want to fight? This has been something that's been in the works with a man who is in shape all year round. So that's something that you want to look forward to against Lawler, who has not been as active as he has been in recent years, but he's still an active fighter. So that one, you just got to get your popcorn ready and enjoy. So the first out of 2 title fights, we got Valentina Shevchenko defending her 125-pound title against Lauren Murphy. And this one is looking to be pretty academic. There doesn't seem to be anybody out there that is going to even come close to challenging Shevchenko until we actually see it. So the question is, how big of a discrepancy do we see? Do we see her piece her up for 5 rounds, or do we see her destroy her quickly and get her out of there within the first 2 or 3? And that is dependent on the challenger, how tough she's going to be, how durable she is, and what openings is she going to be able to take care of in order to be successful. And like I said, we have to actually see that happen before you can even call anything close to an upset. So, like just about everyone else outside of like hardcore fans for our challenger, I see a Shevchenko domination until it's over. So if you see anything different, let me know in the comment section, because that'll definitely be some insightful stuff to talk about. So let's talk about that main event, because this one is intriguing. We got the 145-pound featherweight title on the line. Alexander Volkanovski, the champ, taking on Brian T-City Ortega, who is a jiu-jitsu savant and has shown to have some pretty good stand-up skills as well. His last fight was against Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung, and Volkanovski defended his title against Max Holloway in a really close, tight fight. So we got two guys that have both fought Max Holloway, two guys who are highly skilled, two guys who bring a lot to the table, and this is another hard one to call. Volkanovski brings a lot of movement. He brings a lot of unpredictability to his attack, and it's going to be needed against someone like Ortega, who, if it goes to the ground, it's serious for him. As you know, like his nickname is part of, a jiu-jitsu move, T-City, Triangle City, pretty much, because that's like his signature move, and he can pull it off at just about any time. However, Volkanovski is a former rugby player. So this man used to walk around over 200 pounds. I don't know how this man ends up at 145. It's a wonder how the human body works. But he's going to bring a lot of physical strength. And so it's going to be hard for Ortega to really manhandle him. Or, he can use some good technique. But at the same time, Volkanovski's no slouch in that department either. So I think we're going to end up with a stand-up fight. And Ortega's going to have to use excellent timing to catch Volkanovski in those in and out movements in order to catch him enough to win a decision. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. I'm going to go with Volkanovski by decision. And I think it's going to be just like the Holloway fights, where it's going to be really tight, because the way he moves is he's not landing a lot of like hard scoring blows unless he catches you in a counter where you're trying to counter him coming in and you misjudge the timing and he catches you that way. So I'm going with Volkanovski by decision. I am a big Ortega fan. However, I'm not sure he's going to get it done. But like I said, I'm a fan of his just based off the story and what I've seen of him. And so I might root for him a little bit, even though looking at the skills and how they match up, I think Volkanovski is going to edge out the fight. So let me know how you feel that fight's going to go. Drop that down in the comment section as well. That's all I got for you all. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that, you hit that bell icon as well so you can catch the recaps of these fights. And follow us on social media, Capital Combat, on all major platforms. And we'll see you in the next video. Till then, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and gone. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.